Alright. We should be live. Give me a second. Let me test this. Cool. Alright, cool. We're live. Hell yeah. Okay. So a few hours have passed from the last hour live stream, and I rested my voice, took a little nap, and I'm like, okay, let's give it, one more shot and progress a little more. And again, I don't know how long my voice will take this time, but it's fine. We're taking it little by little, doing what we can. All right. Now, let's continue this game by playing the last DLC, the last moment of this step. All right.
Okay.
All right, kids, we're done with dinner. Come to the table. Oh, let me take a little sip of water. You do as well, at home or wherever you are. Your stomach grumbled right on time, as if it had heard your mom's words. You halted your game and looked over. Mom was almost done setting the table. She was walking around the mahogany wood. Why is every wood mahogany in games? It was mahogany in Phoenix Wright as well. Anyway, around the mahogany wood in the process of putting down cutlery. Mommy was still in the kitchen, humming under her breath as she turned off the stove and put empty pots in the sink to wash. From beside you, Lizzie stirred, uncrossing her legs and standing up. She stretched her arms above her head. Finally, I'm ready to eat. Then she cast a sly glance in your direction. You recognized that look. Last one to the table is a rotten egg. I haven't... But it was too late. Lizzie had already bolted towards the kitchen. You tried to catch up to her. You stayed sitting. You yelled out to her. You threw a cushion. I threw a cushion. Grabbing one of the cushions from the sofa, you launched it towards her. It hit her in the back of the legs, but it was too soft to do anything of real consequence, and she merely brushed the attack off with a scowl. It was a short distance to the kitchen. Lizzie managed to get there easily enough, slapping a hand over the wood. Mom moved just before Lizzie could bump into her. With an exasperated sigh, she resumed her work. I win again. You didn't win because you were racing for yourself, because you cheated. Okay, you won. Yeah. I knew it. That means you're the rotten egg. Sure, yeah. Lizzie grinned, her hands on her hips, then looked over your shoulder. Cove, you think so too, right? You blinked. You'd almost forgotten about him. The fact that Cove preferred to keep to himself didn't help matters either. You spotted Cove still on the floor. His legs were crossed beneath him, the arm with the cast resting in his lap. He looked at the two of you with a slight frown. It felt sort of strange to see him still here so late. Tonight, Cove had to come to your house for a sleepover. Your mom's and his dad had planned it a few days ago. You weren't surprised. You'd overheard your mom discussing it before. You hadn't expected it when your mom told you, but you didn't mind Cove sleeping over. The idea made you uncomfortable. No, the first one, I guess. You'd rather have your room to yourself, but you were resigned to your fate. There wasn't anything you could do. Cove pursed his lips at Lizzie's question, but he didn't respond. Maybe he was planning on ignoring her, not that Lizzie would make it easy. This wasn't the first time she had asked him to be a referee for one of her sudden races.
Come on.
Well, did I win or why? Cove still didn't respond. He turned away, refusing to weigh in. Lizzie glowered, but it had no effect. Fine. Fine, you don't have to say so. You can both be rotten eggs. That's enough. Nobody here is a loser or a rotten egg. You're each farm fresh. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd say.
Alright.
Now, listen to Mom and come sit at the table for dinner. All three of you. Are the voices all like properly up? Yeah. Okay, cool. You and Lizzie obeyed, sitting across from each other at the edge of the table. Lizzie blew a raspberry at you when Mom turned her back. Raspberry. That word always weirds me out. It's like, what the fuck? Why is it called that? I mean, I guess I know why it's called that, but still, I don't know. For some reason, that word bothers me for some reason. I don't know why. Two can play that game. You stuck your tongue out right back. When Mommy pointedly cleared her throat, though, the two of you stopped. Your parents brought the last of the food. Then they took seats further down the table instead of sitting right next to you and Lizzie. Only Cove was left out. He had stood up from his spot on the floor. But he hadn't made a move towards the kitchen. Cove, you can sit too. Slowly, he eyed her 4 seats that were left. Thanks to the new seating arrangements your parents chose, one free chair was beside you, another next to Lizzie, and the last 2 were on the other side of where your moms were sitting. Sit next to me. You can sit wherever you want. You can sit anywhere you want. But the thing is, he doesn't know what he wants right now, right? I think so, at least. So I guess sit next to me is good. He hung his head and scuttled past you, Lizzie and your mom's. He went on the chair on the opposite edge of the table and sat down. It seemed being far away is what he wanted. Your mom's frowned. You shrugged it off and turned back to your plate. Now that everyone was situated, Mommy began to pass out plates.
Okay.
Dig in, kids. I cooked a little bit of everything for dinner tonight. Be sure to avoid all the veggies. That's fun. I'm gonna say that to my kids later. Like, in the future. I don't have kids, obviously. Anyway. Yes, Mom. Each person at the table served themselves, except for one. Cove hesitated again. He fidgeted with his hands clamped on the top of his knees. He didn't seem very comfortable doing stuff in someone else's house. One dish seemed to have his eye, at least. That's pineapple chicken. Wanna try some? Pineapple chicken. So, it's like pineapple, like cooked pineapple with cooked chicken, right? I think. I don't know. Not really, sorry. But then your moms had noted that Cove still had nothing on his plate as well. Do you not like any of the food, honey?
Well,
Maybe he hasn't tried Hawaiian food before. He hasn't? Wow. Oh, he hasn't? Wow. Please don't talk with your mouth full, Lizzie. Lizzie swallowed the bite she was eating. Then she spoke again. You should try it now. She turned to Cove dramatically. Unless you want to shrink, that's what happens if you miss a meal. Lizzie's fun to just like talk like that with. I don't know. Elizabeth, that's not true. You know that. Wait, what the It's like the opposite. You usually hear like parents say that stuff, but it's like the kids are saying it and the parents are like, no, that's not true. I'm gonna fact check you. Cove squirmed under all the attention. He fidgeted with a fork between his fingers. I've had some things, not any of this.
oh shoot.
Oh shoot. I knew I should have asked your dad what your favorite foods were. It's alright, Lonnie. Ah, so her name's Lonnie. I didn't know that. Maybe you'll find a new favorite today. Yeah, that's the attitude. You weren't so sure about that. Cove didn't look like he was going to be trying the food anytime soon. Let your moms handle this. I think you would like the pineapple chicken, it's yummy. You should try something new. I guess the fourth one is what I would say. Aren't you tired of eating the same old things? You were only trying to help, but it seemed to make Cove even more resistant to tasting any of the dishes. Oh shit, okay. Well, the power of choice is in my hands, so maybe the second one? Eventually, Cove carefully spooned the rice and pineapple onto his plate. Heck yeah, man. Maybe because he didn't know what else to do at that point, you saw that he avoided the veggies entirely. Your mom's let him get away with not taking the vegetables. At first, Cove poked at the food. Clearly, he was apprehensive to eat something new, but he took a few exploratory bites.
Right?
It's good, huh? Isn't it? You don't have to keep asking. He still speared more meat with his fork and ate it, chewing thoughtfully. It's not bad. Mommy grinned at his words, satisfied even though it wasn't exactly a glowing commendation. Lizzie wasn't as mollified. You're so weird. Don't be mean to your friend. We're not friends. Oh. Well, shit. Mommy floundered in the face of Cove's blunt honesty. Honestly. It seems strange your mommy was taken aback by the news. When had they gotten along? And you didn't consider yourself to be friends with him either. You had gotten used to seeing him around a lot over the summer, but the two of you hadn't struck anything that could count as friendship. Your mommy looked at Mom and only got a shrug.
No.
Elizabeth, don't call someone weird. There's no such thing as a weird person and a non-weird person. There's just different perspectives. Yes. Sorry. Still a little sick, so I apologize. It's not a nice thing to say to anyone, but Pam, and her name's Pam, so Lonnie and Pam, okay. Mommy tried to whisper exclusively to Mom. Her attempt to make it audible over the sounds of clanking silverware meant you caught the quiet words anyway. They're not friends, he said so. As parents, we can only try, and sometimes we fail. Not all kids will be thick as thieves. Now let's talking and more eating, kids. You need to clean up and start winding down for bed soon. But Mom. But Mom. No buts. We talked about this. Your bedtime will be moved back in a few hours. In a few hours? In a few years. But for now, you don't get to stay up late. Lizzie sulked, muttering under her breath about how it wasn't right. You laughed at Mom's phrasing. You groaned about it as well. You stayed quiet and finished your meal. I don't know, third one, I guess. It was good food and you were pretty content to just keep eating. That's the idea. Good job, James. Everyone else get to it. The rest of your dinner passed by uneventfully. Cove was silent for most of it, even when your moms attempted to include him in conversation. All too soon, the table was cleared. The games in the living room were put away, and you were all steered to your bedrooms. Mom finished tucking you in and kissed your brow just as Mommy poked her head in the room. All ready for lights off, you two? You were lying comfortably in your bed, the blanket hiked up under your armpits. You could kick it off later, if it got to, though. If it got too hot. Mom had set up the sleeping bag on the floor for Cove, just beside your bed. He had already wiggled inside. We are.
Good night.
Perfect. I'll say goodnight to Lizzie then. I'll go say goodnight to Lizzie then. Mom tweaked your nose, chuckled when you squawked in annoyance, and left. Mommy took her place, sitting on the edge of your bed.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, sweetie. She pressed a soft kiss on your forehead. You giggled as strands of her hair fell forward and tickled you. Mommy smiled down affectionately at you, then moved your attention to Cove, who watched from his spot on the floor. Do you need anything before falling asleep, honey? What does your dad do? Sometimes he picks me up and lifts me really high, and he shakes his hands like he's gonna let go, but he catches me again. He keeps doing that until sometimes he does drop me on my bed, or other times he lowers me down and we pretend like I'm crashing. Cove had become pretty excited when talking about the nightly ritual he and his dad shared. He seemed to realize how animated he was and bashfully quieted. Aw. But I don't want to do that here. Aw, how fun. Though, I think you're right that it might not be a good idea to do that tonight. The sleeping bag might not be a soft enough landing. If there's anything else, you can always ask me or James's other mom. But I'm the nicer one. Just don't tell her that. She laughed good. She laughed good-naturedly and stood up.
Take care.
Sleep well, Cove. Night. Leaning against the door jamb, she rested a hand on the light switch and looked to you. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. With a last smile, Mommy turned off the lights and stepped out, closing the bedroom door behind her. You listened to her footsteps fade as she walked down the hallway. You closed your eyes and snuggled in, prepared to drift off. You started when Cove sighed deeply. You turned your head to look in his direction. In the dark, you could only see a faint outline of a lump under the covers. Cove? What's wrong? What was that? Could you be less loud? Shut up! Could you be quieter, please? Stop that now. What's wrong? I can't sleep. Why not? He shifted. Or at least you thought he did. You couldn't see anything since your eyes were still adjusting to the dark, but you heard his sleeping bag rustle. I want to be... Oh, fuck. Sorry. Anyway. I'm good. I want to be in my bed. Oh. Cove sat up. Your eyes had gotten used to the low light level, so you could see him better. He got out of the sleeping bag, wobbled towards your side table, and pulled open the top drawer. What is it? I'm getting my glasses. You sat up too, watching as he reached inside. He paused for a second, then pulled his hand out. Instead of his glasses, though, he was holding a book. Cove turned it around in his hands, trying to figure out the proper orientation for it. You know, even without reading the title, which one it was. That was one your mom would read to you. It was special. Be careful, that's mine. I thought you were looking for your glasses. What are you doing with that? I don't know. I guess the second one. Then I felt this. It looks cool. The compliment he afforded your special book had you grinning, your confusion forgotten. It is really cool. Oh yeah? What's it about? It's a story about a squire who wants to become a knight, and there's magic. Does it have mermaids? No, but I love the main character because the squire is really brave and funny. He has cool pictures, some of them even take up the whole page. Mommy reads it to me, she uses different voices for every character. There's a dragon in it and crazy things happen. I guess the fourth one? Squire tries to kill her because the king wants the dragon dead. So, they have this fight. But the squire finds out the dragon's really nice. They decide they don't want to fight her after all. So, the two of them become friends instead. Usually, Cove sported a disinterested expression on his face, or a sad one. You could probably count the number of times you'd seen him smile on one hand. Right now, though, he looked excited as he flipped the book over and focused at the backside to try learning more. You were reminded of the hours you'd spent hearing the tales. No matter how many times you read it or had it read to you, you were still entertained by the story and pictures inside. You glanced out the window. The moon was high in the sky. It was definitely the time when you were supposed to be asleep. You wanted to read the book with Cove. Let's read the book with Cove. You climbed out of bed and padded over to your side table. You opened it and rummaged around, pushing aside stuffed toys and crayons. Cove called out to you in a confused whisper. What are you doing? You didn't respond, letting the suspense build instead. You let out a quiet cry of victory when you found what you were looking for. You jumped back onto the bed before any hidden boogeyman could catch you unaware. Cove continued. Oh, this is nice. Cove continued to watch as you wiggled your way beneath the blanket you discarded earlier. You pulled it up over your head. What? Shh, get under here already. Bring the book too. After a minute, the bed dipped as Cove got on it. Then the blanket shifted. You fiddled with the flashlight in your grip, feeling for the switch. With a click, the small space flooded with bright light. Cove sputtered, putting a hand up to shield himself from the beam. Move it somewhere else. Oops. You tilted the flashlight so that it shone directly on his face, giggling. Oh my gosh. Hey. You shifted again, making it shine down. You adopted an innocent expression when Cove scowled at you. Now we can read. And my moms won't know. I do this all the time. I've never tried something like this before. Let's go with the first one. I always pretend to sleep when mom and mommy check on me, and I've never been caught. It's fun. Do you want to try? Cove nodded, pleased by his straightforward response. You placed the book between you and flipped it open to the first page. Meanwhile, he laid down on his belly and shuffled closer, picking up the flashlight to shine it on the pages. His face was illuminated with a warm glow. You mirrored his position, leaning in so you could see the book better. Your foreheads nearly brushed until you shuffled back at a comfortable distance. You wanted the story to be narrated. You thought it would be best to take turns reading the book silently. You flipped through the pages to show Cove. I don't know. I mean, I don't want Lizzie to wake up. Okay, let's try the first one. You loved it when mommy read to you. Why not read as loud as you dared this time of night? No. You didn't even need to study the page for long. There was once a squire who dreamed of knighthood. All they wanted was to do good. Cole was taken aback when you began to recite the words by heart. You even wait, I'm doing it as loud as I can? Why not read as loud as you dared this time of night? Oh, as loud as I dared, not can. Okay. Okay. He even pronounced knighthood properly, a word which had given you grief in the past. His reactions encouraged you to keep going. Soon, you got to an exciting part, the squire and the dragon's first meeting. The squire walked up to the fearsome dragon, their borrowed sword in one hand and a torch in the other. Her red scales danced in the light like flickering flames. Could you say the dragon's lines? Do you need to get your glasses? Oh, this is not narration. No, it's my head hurts. If I don't wear glasses for a while, I can kind of see things alright, but I don't know any voices. That's okay, it's fine anyway. You hoped he would agree, but Cove vehemently shook his head. Looked like it was just up to you. You continued the dramatic reading, reciting the lines for all the characters. The next time you looked up from the page, your eyes landed right on Cove. His eyes were following the text, a soft smile. Oh, wow. A soft smile lighting up his features. A lock of his hair fell into his field of vision, but he gave it no notice. He was lost in the story. Beautiful. Your eyelids started to droop. When your eyes opened again, your bedroom was pitch black and silent. Your head was smushed in your pillow. Your pajamas were sticking to you, and your mouth was dry. Slowly, you raised not your voice. Slowly, you raised yourself onto your elbows. You yawned, the back of your throat winging as you did so. Twinging, what the? Winging. You rolled onto your side to sit up in bed, planning on getting water from the kitchen, when you saw a dark shape towering above you. Dun dun dun. Speaking of water, it's water time. Hydrate, everybody. You froze. Then you remembered you weren't alone in your room tonight. Cove, that you?
Yeah.
You shifted and felt something cylindrical press against your thigh. You fumbled for it. The familiar weight of the flashlight pressed into your palm. You turned it on. Cove blinked at you, looking exhausted. He was in his normal clothes again, shoes and everything. His pajama pants were left on the floor, abandoned. His sleeping bag was in a similar state. What is it? Can't sleep. I keep waking up. Ugh. Did you have a bad dream? He shook his head from side to side. No, just can't sleep. It's weird here. You frowned. You'd helped your mom's redecorated only a few months back. I like my room. It's weird to me. I want to sleep in my bed. I'm gonna go. What? That shook off the last of your doziness. He was going to walk outside back to his own house this time of night all by himself. He noted your shocked expression and looked at you with resolve. My dad will let me in, and I've gone outside late before, and I have to go. Well, if you have to, you don't have to. I'll come with you. I should tell moms. No, I don't want you to. I'll just leave. My dad can call them in the morning. You knew that you could just let him go, but something inside you was saying that it wouldn't be the right thing to do. It's too late for you to go outside on your own. It'll be bad. Cove grumbled quietly, though stayed put. Okay, you can tell them. I'll wait. Good. Yeah, let's tell them. When you crept into their room, Mom was still up reading in bed, while Mommy had already fallen asleep. When Mom woke Mommy up, they were both surprised to hear that Cove wanted to leave, and the two of them followed you back to your room to see him.
Sweetie.
Cove, are you alright, sweetie? Is there anything we can do to help? Mommy sounded tired. Oh, Cove.
Sweetie.
Are you alright, sweetie? Is there anything we can do to help? Mommy sounded tired after having just woken up, but she smiled at Cove kindly. Cove shook his head firmly, not meeting anyone's eyes as he did so. I just want to go home. We're sorry you don't feel comfortable staying. How about you come downstairs with us and we'll call your dad to get you? Cove headed past your moms and out of the room. Mom turned to you before leaving. Alright, off to sleep, kiddo. We'll make sure Cove is taken care of. Good night again. Good night, James. You listened to the sound of their footsteps on the stairs as you huddled back down in bed, pulling your blanket up around your shoulders. It didn't bother you that Cove had left. At least now, you didn't have to worry if he would snore and keep you awake all night. Eventually, your eyes started getting heavy. And with a loud yawn, you finally got comfortable in your bed and drifted off to sleep. The next morning, you were woken by the sound of Mom's voice and a soft shake on your shoulder. James, wake up. It's time to get up and at 'em. The sun was peeking through your curtains, and you rubbed your eyes as they adjusted to the new light. Mom sat down on the bed next to you. You blinked at her for a moment, confused, until you caught the empty sleeping bag on the ground and remembered what had happened during the night. Mr. Holden came over to pick up Cove and take him home. You should have seen his hair when he turned up, half asleep. It was even messier than Mommy's in the morning. She chuckled at the thought, and you could tell she was trying to make you feel better about the whole situation, so you smiled back at her.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know that Cove wasn't feeling good, James. That was a nice thing to do. You nodded in agreement, and Mom went on to say that maybe once Cove started to feel more comfortable that he could try and sleep over again sometime. You shrugged the idea off, not particularly caring if that happened anytime soon or not. You could have told your parents they shouldn't have tried to do this in the first place, of course, it wouldn't end well. The next time you saw Cove and Mr. Holden, they both apologized for Cove having left so suddenly. You assured them that it was okay. In the end, the two of you and your parents were eventually able to move past the ill-fated sleepover. It had all been a learning experience, according to the adults. You could accept that. There were definitely things you learned from it. Ooh, step 1 done. Heck yeah. Water time. And then summer ended. Are you sure? Yeah. Though, let's take a little, break. And we'll be back with everything once the break is over. So, the little short break it'll be, of course, a little song of mine. And let's see, which one do I want right now? Let's see. Stupidity Obsession. Let's go. And also, guys, again, if you don't know, you can check out James Morningstar on Spotify and listen to the music there as well. And, add it to your playlists and all that stuff if you want. Be back after this song.
You're feeling down. Feel like I live in another reality. Things you say you believe make no sense to me. Right into my therapy while my head is aching. Your stupidity's all I keep thinking. Saying to myself, don't waste your life away. Not your problem, they put their intelligence at bay. Brush it off and don't let your energy be drained. Give your mind a clean slate. Don't obsess so fucking much. Must keep your peace of mind. Stupidity obsession is why you're feeling down.
All right. We're back. We're back. Took a little bathroom break. Gonna turn on the Our Life music. Cool. All right, then summer ended. I'll never get tired of that view. You stood beside your mom's and Lizzie as the four of you watched the sun dip into the ocean somewhere far, far away. You like to imagine it cooling off in the water, resting itself before getting ready to shine brightly again tomorrow. That was a fun day. I didn't know they had magicians on the shopping street now. Neither did I. Oh no, we are so dull. Let's get out more. He didn't do real magic, Mom. How did you figure that one out?
Yeah.
Because I know, that's not what real magic looks like. Oh, Lizzie dear, there's all kinds of magic in the world. Lizzie gave Mommy a suspicious look, but didn't dispute the claim. Well, we can't sit out here all night. Time to hurry home and get cooking. Who's helping with dinner? Lizzie immediately let out a groan. Mom, summer's almost over. The protest was obvious. You could practically see school on the horizon. You certainly didn't want to spend your last bits of freedom cooking dinner. You could do that any other day. Please, can we play just a little longer? I have to keep playing before it's too late. It is almost over. Reach your best, puppy dog eyes. So, fourth one, let's go puppy dog eyes. Oh, don't look at me like that. Like what?
Please.
Soon we'll have homework and reading to do. We can't do work now too. Lizzie made her case and then stomped her foot into the ground. You mimicked her, feeling that would add something to the argument. Well,
No.
come on, Pam, I can help you with dinner. Mommy leaned in for a hug, and you knew that you were very close to victory.
Okay.
All right. But as soon as dinner's ready, you lot are coming inside. Understood? Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom. Aw. Okay. So much to do, so little time. Maybe I could still get to the seashell bracelet at Tynes and trinkets. Ooh, or maybe the playground. Or the fireflies could probably be coming out, right? Right? Don't I get to say this? You certainly made your own plans. I'm gonna say. Lizzie looked over at you, narrowing her eyes like she was very seriously contemplating the answer to that question. A strong gust of wind made you shiver. Lizzie huffed as she wrapped her arms around herself.
Rude.
Doesn't the wind know that summer's not over yet? That's all Lizzie said before abruptly turning on. Ooh. Wait, give me a sec. Okay, cool. Got a text, but I need to silent my phone because no time for texts now. That's all Lizzie said before abruptly turning on her heel and heading off in the direction your mothers had gone. Where are you going? I'm going to my room. I have lots to plan if I want to make the most of tomorrow. Wait, what the? Ugh. But you were supposed. Anyway, he thought this over, looking off towards the water again. Lizzie didn't wait, and before long, she was disappearing off down the road. You followed Lizzie. You stayed outside. Let's stay outside. You watched Lizzie run off, twisting your hips, twisting your lips as you considered what to do. In the end, the pretty sky and the soothing sound of the waves won out. You strayed off the path, grinning at the feel of the sand quickly filling in the empty space in your flip-flops. That was fun for a while, but you grew bored eventually. How else could you enjoy the remainder of your time at the beach? You looked for seashells, you drew in the wet sand, you roamed around. Look for seashells, because maybe we can give it to Cove. You walked to the shoreline, peering at any debris that washed up. Most of it was just seaweed, rocks, and trash, though now and then you'd spot a seashell. You picked up the ones that stood out to you until you had a nice little collection. It was a great evening, but soon enough you had your fill and were ready to join the rest of your family back home. Not too much farther down, you spotted a familiar green head with hair moseying along the shore. Green head of hair. You kept going. You went to see what Cove was up to, yeah. Curious, you strayed off your path and walked over to him. Cove knelt down. Picking up something you quickly identified as a smooth rock. He reared his arm back, then tossed it out into the water. You were impressed over how far he got it to go. It sailed away out into the sea. It was a good toss. That was pretty neat. It wasn't a long throw. No rocks. No. I guess. The second one. You can't skip rocks in the ocean. What are you doing? You looked for your own rock. I don't know. Cove jumped a little, and you let out a small giggle. Sorry, what are you doing out here? I asked first. Cove frowned, turning back to the waves. I'm not doing anything, just thinking. Cove was looking down at his cast, scratching idly at the pink surface, even though you were pretty sure he couldn't feel it. His elbows, his brows, were furrowed, and there was a frown on his face. It's not fair. I've had to wear this cast for ages. I can't even swim. When do you get it off? How did you get it? Wait, I know how we got it, I think. No? Don't I? I don't remember, but when you get it off. Cove shrugged and didn't say anything. Okay, well, how did you get it? I was jet skiing. Interesting. That's not fair. Cool. Your eyes widened. Cool. Your jaw had dropped at his answer. You wondered if he had broken his arm doing an awesome move, like a loop in the air. Cove looked a little taken aback by your outburst, but after a second, he gave a small nod. He then continued to explain. I crashed. He gestured to his arm as if to say, and this was the result. It's hard to believe you're allowed to jet ski.
Whoa.
Well, I'm not. Oh. Cove let out a huff, plopping down into the sand. I can't believe summer's almost over. He sat down next to him and nodded in agreement, regardless of the sudden topic change. I don't want to go to school. I mean, I would. I don't want to go to a new school. I think it'll be the same school as you and Lizzie. My dad said something about that. And why don't you want to go? It's nice as far as schools go. He'd only ever been to the one school, but you were sure that his old school couldn't have been that much better. Then again, he did have to make new friends and meet new teachers. It could be kind of scary. 1 second. Cool. Cove shook his head, then wrapped his good arm around his knees as he drew them to his chest. You heard a sniffling sound, and when you took a good look at his face, you realized that his eyes were wet.
I want to go home.
You weren't sure what to do. It felt weird to just leave him there, crying, but what could you say that would help? You frowned a little, starting to stand. Okay, well, bye then. Wait, really? Come on. Cove gave his head a small shake. No, I want to go back home. Right, Cove wanted to go back to his old home, the one that sat waiting somewhere far from here. The one he would bring up whenever he felt this sad. It had been a while since he had moved in, but he hadn't seemed to feel any better about being here. He settled back down into the sand, trying to consider what to do. Do you hate it here? This can be your home. It'll be alright. Sometimes when you were sad about something, your mom said that to you. In the moment, you thought it couldn't possibly be alright, but because Sir Stuffalot lost his arm, and you skinned your knee, or you couldn't possibly finish all your vegetables. Or you skinned your knee, or you couldn't possibly... Oh, okay, I get it. So let me read it again. In the moment, you thought it couldn't possibly be alright because Sir Stuff-a-Lot lost his arm, or you skinned your knee, or you couldn't possibly finish all your vegetables. But in the end, they were always right. You're not going to leave, right? You'll still be around. Ugh. That is cute. Man, the question was a little surprising. Of course, your parents would have. I don't know. Let's save this. But like, of course, your parents would have mentioned if you were going to move or something, right? After a second, Cove gave a little nod. Once I get my cast off, we could go swimming. You were fine with him changing the subject again. It would be too cold by then. You smiled, so he'd know you were only kidding. Cove smiled, then looked back into the waves, to the waves. My dad keeps saying I'll get used to everything eventually. That I feel better than it used to make me angry. Okay, so I noticed something here, and I want to like understand which is correct, okay? Because when I was younger, I was like, okay, yeah, quote unquote. So a word inside quotations, then the period comes after the quotations. That's what I thought when I was a kid. But then when I got older, I realized, no, the period goes inside the quotations. And now I see it outside again, and I want to know if this is a grammar mistake, or can it be both, or was I wrong, or like which one is the case, okay? So does the period go inside the quotation marks? Final period or comma goes inside the quotation marks, even if it is not part of the quoted material, unless the quotation is followed by a citation. If a citation in parentheses follows the quotation, the period follows the citation. But let's see. So, can a period go after quotation marks? Yeah. Also, make sure that you place quotation marks correctly with respect to other punctuation marks and with citations. The final period or comma. Okay. So, so because this is not the final period, it doesn't matter. Or like it needs to be outside maybe. So let me see. British publishers tend to put the comma or period after the quotation mark, but the British usually use the narrower single quotation mark as the primary quotation mark. It's true that the convention following the US treats the comma or period as if it were part of the quoted material, but the practice is not likely to give a false meaning to the word cited. Indeed, this sleight of hand involving punctuation is minor compared with the violence of quotation itself. Wait, what is happening? Oh, so the final period is something that goes inside, but before it. So like here, it's not the final period, so it doesn't need to go inside, or it shouldn't go inside. Something like that, I guess. Anyway. Interesting. The more you know. I'm kind of glad I Googled this. I'm going to hydrate a little bit. You should too. My dad keeps saying I get used to everything eventually, that I feel better than it used to make me angry. I didn't want to get used to everything. He spared a glance over a Cove and saw the anger had slipped off his face in favor of something almost puzzled. But maybe that would be okay after all, as long as I really do feel better. But maybe that would be okay after all, as long as I really do feel better. I can't see it. The two of you sat quietly, just taking in the sounds of the waves. Lost in thought, you started a bit when you heard. Wait, what? You started a bit when you heard a faint, familiar sound. I started a bit? Did it mean startled? The sound of your mom shouting your name. Jesus. You looked over your shoulder, realizing it was probably time for dinner. Had you guys really been sitting out here that long? You stood and dusted the sand off of yourself. My mom's calling. It's time for dinner. You should come. Cove looked up at you, expression screaming reluctance, yet ultimately, okay. Okay. When you smiled, Cove returned with, one of his own. But the two of you couldn't stay there in your own little world any longer. You were being called forward. So the both of you ran off towards your house, leaving the waves and summer behind. Hey, oh, this is nice. This is cozy. Ooh, oof, beautiful sounds. In between. Ooh, let's see. So face shape. Same stuff, right? I guess same stuff. I mean, sure. Let's go. Oh, lips. Thick or thin? I mean, they don't really have medium, but okay. So I guess thin maybe. Let's see. Change page. Scar. Clothing types. Okay, I think we're good now. Yeah. Oh, can I just... Wait, do they not have James? Is Jamie the only voice name? Wait, really? They don't have James? Come on. Come on, I want James. I think they got voice names with like Patreon backers, maybe? So no one named James backed them on Patreon. Damn, James's, you disappoint me. Alright. It's cool. Alright. So, let's go. Done. My feelings for Cove. Nervous, relaxed, direct. I am direct. Interesting. Okay, I'm direct. So there's the crush, there's the fond, there's the indifferent. There's the fond, crush. If I'm being honest with myself, okay? Again, I do feel this little pressure, like, oh yeah, Cove is a main love interest. I gotta have a crush or whatever, right? But if I'm just being honest with myself, it's fond. I'm fond of him. You know? I don't want to pressure myself into a specific route. I just want to kind of be honest. So I'm fond and direct. Yes. Choose to customize Cove for yourself or let his prior experiences determine it. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. I'm gonna customize him. So there's this, or there's this. I'm gonna go with this one. Do you want glasses? Let's see. I guess it's fine, but I guess then no glasses, maybe. I don't know. Shirt, let's see. This one. Pants. Maybe this one. Left wrist. Oh yeah, that one. Right wrist. Ooh, nice. I like them, yeah. Necklace. Sure, yeah. That's good. Change page. Oh, there's more hair. Oh no, never mind. PJs. Wait, what? Oh. Okay, I get it. So this one's nice. Jacket, I want to be... I don't know. I guess this one. All right. We good. And choose your feelings for Derek. This is how you feel towards Derek for this step. It can be the same or different from how you feel towards Cove. Oh. It's relaxed. Fond. Am I just gonna be like Baxter crush? Like, no, if I genuinely feel, well, first of all, I'm not gonna have a genuine crush on anyone in these games or in any game, but you know, role playing, right? If I genuinely feel like it makes sense, sure, I'm gonna go with the Cove crush or the Derek crush or the Baxter crush, but I'm just fond right now. Hey, maybe no crushes. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'm sure. August ended, September began. It was time to go back to school. Lizzie groaned and complained the entire first week. She hated going to classes. Still, there were interesting things to do that couldn't be done anywhere else. You weren't sure how Cove felt about it. He was enrolled that year. That was like a sign Cove would be staying in Sunset Bird for a while. At school, he was alright, but kept his distance from the other kids, from what you saw anyway. Ooh, I got an achievement. Teenaged friendship. Start playing instead of using the font interest level. Okay. Originally, he treated you like everyone else, passing by as if you didn't know each other. But as the years went on, the two of you acknowledged each other more and more. Okay, so years passed. A friendship had started to grow. Nice. That year, the divorce of Cove's parents were finalized. You overheard your parents talking about it, saying Cove's dad got full custody. At first, you worried that meant bad news. It had made Mr. Holden cry, apparently. Then you found out it meant Cove would be living with his dad. He would only stay with his mom a few weeks of the year. Cove cried too, for different reasons, you thought. It seemed like Cove and his dad might move again, but Mr. Holden decided to stay after all. Mom asked him about it once. He had said he didn't want to uproot Cove's life a second time. Mr. Holden tried to get Cove to like Sunset Bird more. He kept encouraging his son to go out and see the place. Sometimes Mr. Holden volunteered you to spend time with Cove. You weren't sure how well it worked in changing Cove's thoughts on the town, yet it might have been part of the reason you and Cove ended up growing closer. Cove never talked to anyone about what happened with his parents, and withdrew whenever it was brought up. It was hard for him, yet nobody knew how to help. Eventually, Cove stopped crying on his own. You couldn't understand what had changed. Still, you worried about him. You could tell he wasn't completely happy. Maybe one day he could say out loud what he felt inside. I need some water. Hydrate, everybody. Hydrate. Okay. I'm gonna pour it in my glass first. Whatever you're, drinking. If you don't have a drink, pause this video. Go get a drink. Come on. It's important. After that, it felt like things had gone back to normal, except what was normal didn't stay the same. Years passed and suddenly you were in middle school. You weren't a kid anymore, you were 13 years old. That officially made you a teen, even if your sister didn't agree. The toys and crayons that used to litter every free space in your room had been packed away somewhere, replaced by new hobbies. There were other changes too. Cove's cast got taken off. It was weird to see him without it initially. Underneath the pink plaster ended up being a long, thin scar that snaked across his forearm. Cove's cheeks flushed with shy pride when someone drew attention to it. Shy pride. He also went through a major growth spurt. He was the tallest student in his class for 2 years in a row. Cove will probably hold that spot again next time. In class people knew him for more than just being tall. He also stood out because of how well he did in gym and other athletic situations. Over the years, he became more quiet and reserved. You didn't usually see him talking to other people. And the only kid that came to visit the neighborhood when you were little, Shiloh, well, he was gone. He and his mom moved back south because of her work, just 1 year after Cove came to Sunset Bird. It had been really upsetting when he left. Lizzie was inconsolable for weeks, but nobody talked about Shiloh anymore. It was a long time ago. Interesting, so Lizzie and Shiloh grew close. You learned some heartbreaking things become less sad the further away they were, even if they had never gotten any better. That was sad in its own way. Things at home were different too. You still lived in the same house and all that, but it wasn't how it was before. Ma dyed her hair purple, wanting something new, and liked it so much she kept dyeing it. You remember calling her mommy as a kid. Oh right, now she's Ma. But something like that seemed awkward nowadays. You were much too old for the word. Lizzie felt too mature for her nickname too. She insisted on everyone calling her Elizabeth, so you did. Your mom soon gave her permission to go places other than the playground and shopping street, which she took advantage of. You rarely saw her around the old neighborhood. In fact, she hardly spent time with you the way she did before. Elizabeth instead associated more and more with girls from school who were her own age. Maybe the difference between the 13 and 15 was greater than the difference between 8 and 10. You started befriending new people yourself, like Derek Suarez. He didn't live in the neighborhood or go to the same school. What happened was his and Cove's dads struck up a business partnership a few months ago. Alright. Since then, Derek would pop up in the area now and then. It seemed Mr. Suarez was happy to let Derek tag along to his work, if Derek had the time for it. I might need to end stream soon because I think I'm tiring my voice again. So, but it's, it's cool. We finished step 1 where we began step 2. Began step 2. Anyway, since then, Derek would pop up in the area now and then. It seemed Mr. Suarez was happy to let Derek tag along to his work if Derek had the time for it. Without a doubt, everyone and everything around you had changed. In small and big ways, you had too. As time went by, though, it was easy to settle into this new why do I want to say neighborhood? Normal. Into this new normal. Then, before you knew it, school was over and summer vacation had come again. Ah. It was the first day of summer vacation. The sun was as hot as ever, but you were inside and away from the harsh rays. To be more specific, you were snuggled up in bed, celebrating your time off by sleeping in, wide awake, about to head out and enjoy your time off. Let's go with the first one a little bit. It was hot, but you still had the blanket up over your head to block out the sun. You didn't want it intruding on your lazy morning. Unfortunately, you hadn't prepared for an intrusion. From beneath the blanket, you heard the door crack open. You're still sleeping? Wow, get up. Go away, you pretended to still be asleep. You got up. Morning. Morning, now get up. I will come over there. So much for lazy morning. Mom told me to tell you that your friend's at the door. He brought some happy summer gift from Mr. Holden. Mom wants you to take it from him. Say thanks or whatever.
Come on.
So, come down already. Be right there, okay, fine. Right there. Elizabeth said nothing else and left, having done what was instructed of her. You rolled out of bed, stretching your arms high and yawning. Time to get ready. You sat yourself in front of the mirror in the far corner of your room. Your reflection hardly even fit in the frame. You're very tall. Your reflection went over the whole length of the mirror. You're pretty tall. Your reflection fit comfortably in the frame. You're average height. There was a lot of open real estate in the frame. You're pretty short. You had trouble getting your reflection to appear in the mountain mirror frame. You're very short. I'm 5'11", which means I'm like a little bit above average height. But so I don't know if that's pretty tall, but I don't know. I'm just gonna say pretty tall. I don't know, man. Cove tended to be the only person around who was even taller, at least among teens your own age. He talked, you liked your height, you weren't sure how to feel about it, you were kind of self-conscious. I'm fine. It suited you well in your mind. Then you put the finishing touches on your outfit while ruminating on the situation. Careless as they had been, Elizabeth's words piqued your curiosity. You planned on going over to see what Cove was up to, so this worked in your favor. Your reflection grinned back at you. You were looking forward to seeing him. You left your room, going down the stairs 2 steps at a time. Oh, step 2, second chance. Ooh. Damn. Interesting. So how long have I been streaming? An hour, basically. We finished step 1. I guess I'm gonna end it for now. I may do another one of these like 1 hour streams later today. I don't know, but I don't want to like exhaust my voice. So I'm gonna save here. No. Stop. Oh my god, stop. Save, please. Cool. And now, alright, cool. Thank you guys for watching and being here. Mwah, mwah. Kisses. I'll see you in the next stream, whatever it is. Mwah.